Good morning, nerds. I am sorry about the bad audio, but I'm not going to be around my computer in order to record. So we're just going to have to deal with the bad audio today. I'll try and clean it up somehow, but there's no promises. Anyway, so today we're talking about how Nintendo is getting completely smacked around by Palworld. Nintendo has, you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and grab ourselves some coffee, sit back, relax, and get into it, shall we?
Hey, before we get started, I stream Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So hit that notification bell, hit the follow button, the subscribe button, all that good stuff. So if you want to come join us, chill out while we're just playing a video game Monday and Wednesday, go ahead and do so. And if you want to join the conversation on Friday when we talk about news like this, well, you got to do the same thing there too, and you can come join us then. I'll see you then.
Alright, so yeah, Nintendo has officially lost the war with Palworld and Pocketpair. They may win the upcoming battle, but they have officially lost the war. So what has happened here? Let's take a step back and take a look at how things were. Alright, Palworld launched. Palworld launched to great success, and Nintendo took that personally. So, the rest of us were arguing about copyright infringement. See? That's the thing. A lot of the pals take a lot of inspiration from a lot of Pokemon. Just like when Nintendo and Pokemon did that to Dragon Quest and took a lot of inspiration from their monsters to make various Pokemon, Palworld did the same thing. And also you've got the whole, you can only reinvent a chipmunk 15 different times before they all start looking the same. And well, Nintendo's already made that chipmunk like 15 times at this point, so when you take a chipmunk, crossbreed it with a Leafeon, you get whatever the Palworld variant of it is, and it holds a minigun on top of that, because why not? So the whole conversation was about copyright. In fact, there was a guy who apparently ripped the models out of the game, put them on top of each other and said, see, Palworld ripped Pokemon straight from the Pokemon games and just copied them, threw a new, coat of paint on it, right? And then it turns out in order for him to actually fit them and mesh them together, he had to change the pals, shrink them and stretch them and all this other stuff to get it all to work, just to even attempt that argument. So it all kind of fell apart after that. But yeah. So then we had everybody just waiting on whether or not Nintendo was actually going to sue over this. Because, on one hand, it's like they're changed enough that I don't think they could really sue. I mean, they could, but I don't think they would win, right? We've had precedent already set about how to change copyright materials and things. And it could be one of those, large company decides it's going to squash the small company regardless, so it doesn't really matter, because in the end Nintendo would win, because then Palworld would be closing its doors, right? And we wouldn't get a full release of that game ever, because Nintendo completely depletes them monetarily just fighting this copyright thing. And then Nintendo finally sued. The problem is they didn't sue them for copyright infringement. Instead, they sued them over patent infringement. And the rest of us was looking at them going, I'm sorry, what did you just say? Patent infringement? What patents did Pocketpair rip from Nintendo? Now, to understand why anybody would even think of that, you've got to actually know something about both games. So, you've got Nintendo. Nintendo pretty much has, the Pokemon series, and the series goes as follows. You're a trainer, you capture monsters, you train those monsters. It's an RPG. And the whole goal is to become champion of the region for the most part. Now, some of the games have toyed with that. There's been spin-off games, of course, that changed up different formulas and things. But for the most part, the main story is become champion of the region. Now, with the last ones, they definitely did some changing in recent ones where they decided they weren't really gym battles, but essentially it was still the same thing with like Sun and Moon or whatnot. And then Scarlet and Violet, they had the 3 different story kind of thing going on. You had the gym storyline where you're becoming champion, right? And you have the sandwich storyline where you're collecting the HMs in the form of sandwiches, so the legendary you get at the very start of the game can be allowed to fly and glide and swim and climb and all that stuff, so you can traverse the world. And then there was another story front, I think it was Team Star or whatever the heck they're called, I honestly can't remember because, quite frankly, they were really forgettable. Where they were essentially, for us older folks, the Team Rocket of that game, right? So they're doing their thing, and you had those 3 story prongs, and they all, coalesce into the end game where they all become one big thing and stuff like that. So, they're splitting up the formula a little bit. Palworld, on the other hand, is a survival game. That's it. It's a survival game. There's a heat mechanic, cold mechanics. You could freeze to death. You can burn up to death. You capture monsters. That is a thing they share in common with Pokemon. You build bases. You take those monsters. You take out a whip. You whip them until they make guns for you. And then you use those guns to shoot other monsters and capture them. And if you really, really want to, tap into your inner slaver, I guess, you can capture humans too in the balls and put them on display or have them work. Because I think they only had like a level 1 handy skill or something. I can't remember what their skill was, but it was stupid. Anyway, it was also quite funny, to be totally honest. And the memes were just glorious. The memes were fantastic. So the only thing these games actually share is the fact that you can capture monsters and you capture it with a ball. Right? So, Pokemon had apparently patented the ability to throw a spherical object to capture a monster. They also patented, which also I think got denied, by the way. They patented it multiple times and it got denied. Then they had patented, throwing a ball and releasing a monster, which I think has been in limbo. It got denied, is still in limbo, got redone. I'm not sure where that one sits. I think it's part of the lawsuit, to be totally honest, because that is the mechanic Palworld took out, right? So they had the 600 IQ move to remove the mechanics that actually are in the lawsuit for the most part and move forward. So then the other mechanic I think they were trying to patent was riding monsters, because it's not like it's ever been done in most MMOs or anything or other games. Heck, Diablo 2 has a mount system, or Diablo 4 has a mount system, World of Warcraft, Guild Wars, and various other games, which of course, encroaches onto, Pokemon saying, oh, now that we have that patent, guys, you owe us money, kind of bull like that, right? And then finally, recently, mind you, they have filed a patent for catching a monster on a touchscreen. I kid you not. Palworld mentioned, hey, we're making a mobile game, and then Pokemon suddenly was patenting how to catch a monster using a touchscreen, which that patent got denied. Then it got denied a second time, and I think they're in the 3rd iteration now, because Pokemon and Nintendo have literally just been patent trolls to Pocketpair at this point. And now that we're in the recent news about this, it really does look like Nintendo has completely lost the war at this point. They are 40 million plus, I think, in the hole into this whole patent trolling legal nonsense against Palworld. And the most they can get back has been floated around as apparently $30,000. Why? Because they are suing over a product that no longer exists. Palworld's fixing the launch soon, in July. They have their court case in October. They're literally going to be fighting over a game that no longer exists. And that is how Nintendo has lost the war. Even if they do somehow win that battle, and I hope they don't win that battle. As much as I have a love-hate relationship with Nintendo, I really, really hope they don't win that battle in October, because that would just be the final nail in the coffin, if you ask me, when it comes down to this. But yeah, they have definitely lost the war when it comes to Palworld at this point. The only other thing after that I can even fathom that they do is actually go through and try and sue for copyright at that point, and take things like Anubis and Lucario, put them side by side and say, see, they're still in our designs, Judge. They're still in our designs, I tell you. And see how that goes. But also at this point, with as much time has gone by, I don't know if that's going to hold water anymore, because they should have started with that fight probably to begin with. And I don't know if the court system's going to take that into account or something. It's like, look, it's been a couple of years. You could have done this to start with. Why are you doing it now that you lost your other lawsuit? This really does stink of just misuse of the justice system at this point, of the court system. And with any luck, that gets thrown out or something, if they do something like that. Anyway, let me know what you think down in the comments below, and I will talk to you later, and hopefully I'll be alive. I don't know. I'm working way too much lately. See you then.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4,
数字がゼロになる前にポチッとしてみる。
Game over.
仕方ないね。またの挑戦を待っておるぞ。